Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're playing Shifter Dots. Well, Shifter Dots 101 to be specific. Now, if you're looking at this thumbnail and you're thinking it kind of looks familiar, that's because it should be. It's essentially very much based on shifter lines, kind of like the puzzle is, but now with dots that you can see pixelated all over this transforming werewolf, hence the idea of shifter. Now, all will become clear as I step you through the rules, but what I'm going to suggest is if you haven't played the Shifter series from gUBBLOR, is I'll put a link up here somewhere so that you can go and explore Shifter Lines first, Shifter Lines 101, which is highly approachable. Looking at the grid myself, I'm actually a little bit intimidated, so I'm going to suggest start there, come back to this puzzle if you haven't played them already. Shall we take a look? What have we got in store for today? So, Shifter Dots 101 by gUBBLOR, Introduction to Shifter Dots. Now, gUBBLOR did actually put a bit of an explanation when he posted this puzzle. Essentially, he found shifter lines are somewhat restrictive around the kind of puzzles that he can create, because if you're familiar with that series, essentially it relies on, I'm going to use a kind of a line tool here, that the shifter line occurs in different kind of boxes, and because of the way the rules work, which I'll step through in a second, the maximum you can ever have in terms of a shifter line in one box is 2 cells. You can obviously kind of come in and out again, but that kind of restricts them a little bit. And the idea here is actually, all right, let's not bother with shifter lines. Let's just remove all that kind of constraint and go with shifter dots instead. Confused? Well, hopefully you won't be when I take you through the rules now. So first rule, fairly obvious one that's going to be familiar with probably anyone watching this video, which is normal Sudoku rules apply. So that means place the digits 1 through to 9 in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box without any repeats. Shifter dots, that's kind of the whole theme of today. Let's start there. So digits on different sides of a shifter dot must always share either the parity, even/odd, or polarity, high/low. Never neither and never both. So let me explain what that means. If I can put a 1 on here, this dot, this cell that is joined with one of these shifter dots, has to either share the same parity, so it's an odd digit, and I can go for, I don't know, 3, 7, and 9 in here. I'll go with 5, so essentially it can share the same parity or the same polarity, as in high-low digits, but never both. Now here, both clearly means that if I go with 1 and 3, I've broken it because they are both the same parity, they're both odd, and they're same polarity, they're both low. One of them has to be different. So 3 in this particular case can't work. 5 doesn't work. Shifter dots can never have 5 on them. So a 7 or 9 will be just fine. The other option, of course, would have been, well, keep the same polarity, as in it's a low digit, but change the parity. 2 and 4 would also be fine. So this full pencil mark here of 1 joined with 2, 4, 7, or 9 will be absolutely fine. Right. We also have Kropki dots, which are probably the more common variant rather than the invention we're looking at today. A black dot between cells indicates cells with a value of 2:1 ratio. So these two cells here are joined with a black dot. If that was a 2, that could literally be 2:1 with a 1 in here. But essentially it's saying one of these cells has to be the double of the other. If that's 2, that absolutely can be a 4 as well, and that would be a solid pencil marking as well. White dots are even simpler. They have to be consecutive. If that was a 2, to be consecutive with a 2, which is, this cell joined with a white dot to the 2, that would be a 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, or 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. Lastly, we have the XV rules, which I imagine most of you are going to be familiar with. So the V cells that we have here at the top, it means that these two cells are 5. If that was a 2, this would have to be a 3 to make sure, again, these two cells add up to 5. The X's are, even simple. They are essentially, these two cells must add up to 8. If that was a 2, this would have to be, 10. If that was a 2, this would have to be an 8 to join these two together into a sum of 10. I'm not sure I did a brilliant job on explaining, but I imagine most of you are going to be familiar with these rules that I am going to plow along anyway. So if you're feeling adventurous, you want to play along with shifter dots, you want to figure out what it's all about, link will be in the description down below as usual for you to play along. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. So I'm kind of looking at box 1, which has, like, seriously no shortage of clues, and box 9 as another place that also has no shortage of clues. But I'm kind of somewhat intimidated by the shifter dots because, like, I mean, just even with that one example, all of these being valid cells just makes my head hurt. So I know I'm going to inevitably have to look at box 1, but box 9 seems to be the right place to start. In fact, what's an even better place to start is actually, and I keep doing this with gUBBLOR's puzzles, I forget about the fact that 5s do not belong on, shifter line, shifter dots. So take a look at box 1. Well, no 5s, no 5, no 5, no 5. All of these are shifters. There's no 5 ever on an X or a V. If it was an X, that would mean a double 5 to get to 10. If it was a V, that would mean a 5 and a 0, which, yes, I can write in, but it's not allowed under normal Sudoku rules. So the only place that a 5 is allowed in box 1 is this cell. And we actually have a digit in around a minute. I don't know if I'm going to keep coloring, but shall we just see how far this goes? Maybe box 9, yep. No, these can be 5. That's the 5. That's straightforward. 5s now in box 3 are none of these. Can't ever be on a black Kropki dot because, well, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's not on the shifter. It's not on an X. We've covered why it's not on an X. That's the other 5. 5 now in box 2 is between these two cells. 5 in box 6 is between these two cells. Can't be on a black dot because that's going to be either a 10, too big, or 2.5, not allowed. Sorry, I don't know why I said 5 and then wrote in 2. So one of these, did it consistently at least, is a 5, not a 2. Down here maybe? No, that's just chaos. But actually, yep, box 8, you can write in a 5. You can almost do it in box 7, not quite. Although I can do it because of box 4. No 5s Sudoku, no 5 on a shifter, no 5 on an X, no 5 on an X. These are the only two cells that can be a 5. Clearly that's not it now in box 7. Sorry, box 4, and therefore box 7. I'm being all over the place. That gives me this 5. Right, let's think about, we need 1 in here, in this column because of Sudoku. And therefore it's not on the shifter, it's only one cell that's possible. That's the 5, that's the 5, and that's all the 5s done. And like I said, I don't know if I'm going to color them, but we may as well. So I did say more intimidated by this. Kind of a little bit easier in here in that these are 1, 2, 3, and 4. So essentially all the low digits are down here. And look at the fact that I've got a black dot on here. So this is tricky because if I put a 1 in here, I would need to put a 2 on this black dot. That's the only digit that is a double of the 1. And obviously I know that breaks because whichever one is the 1, it'll be accompanied with a 4, and then the other side will be a 2 or 3. And then I've repeated the 2 in the box. So it's kind of restricted. That's 1, that's 4. Do I have a similar restriction with the 2? Yes, I do. Because now imagine that this is the 1-4 pair and this is the 2-3 pair. Well, I can't have a 1 on here. I've already written it. I can't have a 4 in here. I've already written it. I've broken it. So the 2s can't be on these black facing Kropki dot cells. And essentially we have a 1-2 pair and then a 3-4 pair. And because 2 is not available, the 4 will be joined with an 8, and the 3 is always joined with a 6 when it comes to black dots. And then we're left with 7 and 9 in here to complete all of this. And that all looks pretty solid. I mean, I'll look at the... the kind of shifter dots in a moment, but I just wanted to complete the easier bits, the X V cells. So let's just really think about this. That can't be a 3. No, that can't be a 4, because a 4 can't join a 7, 9 on a shifter dot because it's changing both the parity and polarity, which is not allowed. You can only change one of them, not 0 and not both. So that has to be the 3. Therefore, that is the 6. That has to be the 4. That is the 8. That also gives me the 1. That gives me the 2. That gives me the 2. And then the 6 is shifting parity. That works. The 3 is shifting polarity, and the 8 is shifting parity. That all looks good to me. Although the 3, is looking already at that 1, 3. So that's 1, that's 9, that's 7. That's plenty of digits. I think I made it look harder than it really is. Take a look at this black Kropki dot, 1, 2, 4, and 8, literally. All of them staring at it. The only option that's left here is a 3, 6. And now we're left with 7, 9 to complete the row. We have 4 digits. Actually, this is an easier one. Here is 7. It's not in any of these. That's the 7. And then I need to either have a 1 or 3, which are not available, or a 6 or 8. And because of the 6, that tells me this is an 8. Then I have 2 cells remaining, which are 4 and 9. And I can pretty much complete all of these rows now. Let me take a look at box 7. So we've done 1, 2, 3. We need 4, not 5, 6, and 8. And in here we need 1, 2, and 3, literally. The 1s and 3s can never be joined on shifter dots because they are both the same parity and polarity. So this is the 2 in the middle, and then the 1 and 3 on either side. The 1, 3 is a low odd digit. It cannot join a high even digit. So 6 and 8 here doesn't work. That's a 4. And ironically, we have another 1, 3 here with that white dot. And then we've got another 7, 9 in here with that X domino. So as far as I can take it, I mean 7, 9. I can go back to 1, 3. I can also go to 6, 8. So not very helpful. Can maybe think about the V at the top. I've got the 2 and the 4, which is not really as restrictive as I'd like it to be. So maybe I haven't really thought vertically this way. Let me think about that next. So we've got 3, 6, and 4 all looking at this Kropki dot, this black Kropki dot, I should say. I think the only 2 options are left. Well, only one option that's left is a 1, 2 pair. Because I can't do 4, 8. 4 is gone. Can't do 2, 4. 4 is gone. 3, 6 is gone. Yep, that's 1, 2. That's 8, 9. That's probably got plenty of options on these shifter dots again. Especially the fact that I don't know which one it is, if it's a 1 or a 2. What do I know? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're all the low digits are gone. In fact, here's a better question. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 all gone. The only one that can be going on a black Kropki dot now is an 8, which can only be joined with a 4. And then I've got 2 more options here. That's a 7, 9, I'm going to say. They look like they're only options remaining in the column. And therefore, because this is a 7, 9, that can't be a 2. That's shifting both parity and polarity. So that's 1, that's 2, that's 8. That 1 can either go to a 4, which it can't, because 2 and 4 are not available. So I can't just shift parity. I need to shift polarity, and therefore I've got another 7, 9. That 9 tells me it's going to be a 7. And that's a 9, that's a 3 in the X, that's a 6 on the black Kropki dot. This 7 is joining either a 6 or 8. The 8 in here tells me it's a 6. And then to finish this box, I need a 4 in here. This is going better than I expect. 6, 4 and 5. Sorry, 5 requires either a 4 or 6. The 4 is gone. Then 2 more cells that are 1 and 3, I'm going to say. No, not 1. 1, 2, 3. 3 is 9. Really? Yeah, because that 9 gives me this 7. Then we have in here 1 and 2, I'm going to say, as the remaining options for this column. That's the only thing that's left outstanding. The 5 has to join something that is consecutive, and it's not the 6. Well, that's 4, that's easy. 4 can be joined with a shifted dot to a 6, that's fine. There's 6 in here. I can either go to a 7, 9, which are not available, they both see this cell, or a 2, 4, and the 4 clearly is placed already, so that's a 2. We're kind of not far off the point, I feel, where we can actually complete this puzzle, but there's a bit more left to it. This 2 tells me that this is a 1, 4 V now. That 4 tells me the order. That's 4, that's 1, that's 9. 4 can join, well, I guess it can go to a 3 or a 6 or 8. And the 6 or 8 are not available. And I guess the 1 is not available, so that's definitely the 3. 1 and 3 are gone, so that has to be 6 or 8. At the moment, not known what it is. And high even digit can go to, well, either a low even digit, which this isn't, 2 and 4 are gone, or a high odd digit, and because of the 9, that's fixed. That's a 7, that's a 9, that's a 1. The 7, there's too many options. So what do we have left in here? We need a 2, that's 6 or 8. That 6 tells me it's an 8, and therefore that's the 6, and that's those dots done. That's a 1 to finish the row, that's a 9. We're very nearly done with all the rules. Well, let me just finish these. 3, 1, 9 gives me the 7 and 9. The 6 gives me the 8 and 6. The 9 gives me the 4 and 9. 3, 6 still not resolved. 9 gives me the 3 and 9 in here. 1 gives me the 2 and 1. So now these are the only clues that are left, and I think we should be able to sort them out fairly quickly. We know what this cell is. This is just straightforward Sudoku, and it's a 3. A 3 can go with either a 2 or 4. 4 is not available, that's a 2. In here we need to add up to 10. 1, 9 not available, 2, 8 not available, 3, 7 not available. It's a 4, 6, and they tell me the order with 4 and 6. That 6 gives me these. Now just these dots, and then we're done with the puzzle. It's just Sudoku after that. So what do we actually have left? I mean, the 1 clearly has to be down here, and it's in there, in fact. The 1 has to go with either a 2 or 4. It could be a 4, that's an option, or 6 and 8, which isn't an option, so that's a 4. Now in here we need a 9, which we know is up there, with whatever's left outstanding. 3, yeah, that works. High to low odd, and then Sudoku to finish. 7, 8. I need another 8 in this row, and a 7 in this row. I need a 7 still in this box. I need a 2 and 3. That's the 2, that's the 3. In here I need an 8, and then to finish I need a 6. And that's another lovely variant from gUBBLOR. Very similar to, I guess, shifter lines, but I mean, take a look at box 1. I think, thankfully, we had a much easier break-in, but I can imagine already like a 2-star or 3-star difficulty rated puzzle when you're having to think through all of these incredible number of options on these shifter dots, and you're just, yeah, my head hurts even thinking about it. Well, looking forward to the harder puzzles in this series, gUBBLOR. I mean, we still haven't finished with so many of the others. We haven't finished shifter lines. We haven't finished some of the others. So we're going to have to keep running through this, possibly into the new year. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and, sorry, the puzzle as well, more importantly. And I feel like I need to go and get a paracetamol now, thinking about all of this. Hope you see you guys for the next one. Bye for now.